All right, I think we should probably get started. We've got a pretty good turnout here. So thanks so much for joining everybody. And there will be a second instance of this later today. That'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If anybody needs to jump off, or if you had colleagues that wanted to attend this but missed it. So my name's Sam Bogosh. I'm CEO of Axle AI, and I'm here with kind of our team. We'll be talking today about ascribe.ai, which is our new and really exciting premier panel for doing automatic transcription of video content. We will also be doing a Q&A about that. And then we thought to kind of fill out the program, we would also spend a chunk of time on the latest developments in our Axle AI radically simple video search and media management software. So broadly speaking, we're going to try and spend the first 20 to 30 minutes on Ascribe, and then we'll spend another 20 to 30 minutes on Axel, and those are inclusive of Q&A. So hopefully we'll wind things up at around 45 or 50 minutes. But at any point, feel free to submit questions, and then we'll have like dedicated Q&A time at the end of the demos, of each demo essentially. So with that, let me kind of talk a little bit about who we are at Axel, because some of you may not know us well. The big point about Axel is that we are trying to solve the problem that editing video is really kind of like living in a cave. You spend nearly half your time just finding material, and there's also a huge amount of time spent reshooting things that are probably already there, or hunting around for particular bits of content. And that's especially true with the sheer amount of footage that people are shooting nowadays, which is, the shooting ratios are now climbing well in excess of 10 to 1 in terms of like what gets shot versus what gets used in the finished material. There's also an additional challenge, but also an opportunity with social media, which is that everybody is reusing content more and more. And they're coming back after the fact, sometimes weeks or months later, and saying, I know there was a point where it was really good, where the person said such and such, and they just can't easily find it. So we're trying to, broadly speaking, give the creative community tools for this. And that's equally true whether you're in a corporate video environment, broadcast, churches. There's a huge amount of work being done in universities and even in political campaigns. So there are all these different walks of life where video is becoming central. And that's all happened just in the last few years. So just briefly, this is some of our global customers. We have about 550 customers today, although that number is expanding pretty rapidly with the advent of Scribe. And as you can see, it ranges kind of all over the map, but everything from corporate to university to broadcast customers. And we're going to dive into a quick demo here, but I just wanted to talk briefly about the pricing for Ascribe. We're trying to make it super affordable. So unlike Axel's kind of traditional products, I shouldn't even call them traditional because we've only been in business for 7 years, but unlike our, let's say our previous mainstream products, there's no upfront cost to Ascribe. You basically can sign up, and for a very small monthly subscription, you can get 150 minutes per month of processing. You can go to higher tiers, and you can also just add blocks as you need them. And the first hour is free, and the panel itself is free. So it's essentially free to try, and then very, very inexpensive to use on an ongoing basis. What it comes down to is a little under $2 per hour of footage processed. We time the amount of footage that gets processed, not the amount of time it takes to crunch. And we expect to be able to actually drive those prices down over time. We think that things like video transcription and some of the other capabilities that are available in Axel, such as face and object recognition, are only going to become mainstream when they're really affordable and when you don't have to kind of agonize over whether to use them. In the last year or two, there have been some great proofs of concept, and we've seen a lot of our customers say, this is awesome, when they've used it on a few hundred hours of clips. But typically these customers will have thousands or even tens of thousands of hours of clips. And our goal is to make it really cost effective to just leave it on all the time. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. These are some of the folks that you'll be hearing from on the call. And we have a really cool team at Axel of 19 people worldwide. As I mentioned, I'm the CEO. Patrice, who's our VP of Products, will be on next demoing. And then we also on the line have Katie Scott, who heads up our operations, Alex Hamilton, who heads up our US sales, and Neil Blake, who heads up our EMEA European sales. They're all available for questions. Also, our email addresses are super simple. It's just first name at axle.ai. So feel free to either lob us questions during the call or email us later at your convenience. So with that, I think I'm going to turn things over to Patrice, and we'll go ahead and give you a demo of Ascribe.
Thanks a lot, Sam. I believe you may need to stop sharing your screen.
Turn it over, which I'm trying to figure out how to do here, actually.
You just need to stop sharing.
Oh, okay. That's easy enough. Or is it? Yes, stop share. Good.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Sam. And I would like to confirm from the panelists that you can see my screen.
We can.
Excellent. So thanks everybody for joining. Very excited to show you the latest development that we have here, where we try to bring AI to more to everybody. And before I dive in, I would like to make sure that everybody know that you can use the Q&A section or the chat window to ask questions. And don't be shy. We are happy to answer any of your questions. So here I am in my Premiere. And it's simply an extension that you can either grab from our website, and it is going to be available soon in the exchange market from Adobe, as soon as it has been approved and published. So let me just grab the extension for Scribe right here. And I have a brand new window, and all you need really is a token that you can grab from our website. And we do provide you the site straight from the panel to register and grab the token. And as soon as you have registered, you have already 1 hour free included. And when I get started, I simply need to select a clip or a sequence. And I will take this clip right here in my Premiere window. And you will see that as soon as I selected it, it is going to show me the transcript. And it has been transcribed in the past, should I say. It is not that fast. I wish it were, but it is not that fast. The reason why we are able to actually get this transcript already loaded is because we are saving them as markers. And we do that so that basically the transcript will follow your clip. So if you were to move the clip around, if you change the machine, you will still be able to get the transcript, because we don't want you to constantly have to retranscribe everything. And I can easily follow. As you can see, as I scrub my video or I play, it will follow where we are. I can easily edit by simply clicking on the block of text, and it is going to update the markers. And whenever I am done editing and everything, I can then export in different formats. So we have the TXT format right here. We have a VTT, which is basically a HTML5 player captioning track. Very, very useful. If you simply have a website with HTML5 players, you can just add a VTT caption track, and it would basically just display it. Or you can export an SRT, which is the standard for the standard for captioning. So let me just export it to my desktop. Here, jumping into my desktop, you will see that I have my Steve Jobs transcript. I can open it with a text file so you can see what it looks like. And there we go. You will see the transcript. This is a day I've been looking forward for 2.5 years, and so on. And so what can I do with this SRT file? You can bring it to VLC, you can bring it to any other tool, or you can bring it up, wrong window, you can bring it straight into Premiere. I can bring it back. So here I have my clip that I have, and I can bring it to my project, and here is my project. And let me just take the SRT file now that I have brought in. And here I have all my captions. So now, how will I get to the point of having the transcript in Scribe? It's a very good question. So let me close this. And if I were to jump in this bin right here, I have this interview clip here with Justin Trudeau. I have no marker set, I have nothing. And let me jump back here to my Ascribe panel. And you will see that I have a transcribe button. If something has been transcribed, it will show me that it has transcription. If it has not been transcribed, I have the option to transcribe it. And let me just point out to one fact is that you can easily just mark in and mark out your clip and only transcribe the segment that you need. Because we don't necessarily want to have a full hour of transcript if we only need parts of it. And I'm just going to hit the transcription button. You can choose the language of your video, and we support English, Spanish, Korean, French, Italian, Russian, and Portuguese. All these languages are supported. So here it's an interview in English with the Prime Minister Trudeau. And I will hit the transcription button. First thing we do is create an audio format using media encoder. And second thing is a transcription. It has gone fast. It actually is, for each minute of transcription, if you have a good upload speed to send it to our server, it will take you about 10 seconds for each minute of your clip. And here I have my transcript ready, and I'm ready to export. I'm ready to edit and do everything I need. And if I need to actually find a specific text within a scribe, I can easily say, for example, I'm a feminist, and I will find the different segments where I have the word feminist here and here. And the same now, because we save it as markers, you can easily search within your project. I can search, for example, for iPhone. I did not find anything here, but if I were to do the same search here, it will find the different clips that I have. So all my Steve Jobs clips, basically. And that has been a scribe. And with that, we are happy to take some questions. Sam, over to you.
Yep.
I see we have a question from Matthias. How does a scribe define the length of each transcribed section? And could you change the duration if you wanted to?
A very good question. Yeah. It's a very good question. Yeah. So you cannot, right now you select the in and out points straight into Premiere from a scribe. And this can be, you can easily update then the SRT file. If you wanted to change the position of the caption, you can easily update that. Did I answer the question correctly?
Well, is it a default that you set once, or how does it, how do the lengths of the sections?
Oh,
gets that.
okay. So, I understand now. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about in and out points within the clip.
Yeah.
No. So you were talking about the how many words. So we feel that if you have a long stretch of text, it's about 20 to 30 words that we will have because we think it's easier to follow that way. And we also use long gaps of silence to basically stop it because there's no point in displaying that long for words. So this is how we keep track of the different block of text.
But there's no way to adjust the segment lengths inside the panel.
Currently, no, there is no way. But if you were to need to change that, you can easily update the SRT file that you have exported.
Yep.
Okay, we have Andre who is asking just a quick support question. Andre, the password you want to enter when you install the panel is the OS password, not the password you use to register. The password you use to register is used to set up the token and either change your subscription level or by block of minutes.
And by the way, we've just shown the panel itself, but we haven't shown the kind of portal where you set up your account and either subscribe or buy blocks. Would it be worth? Well, do we want to show that, or is that probably it's very simple?
I can definitely show it. Apologies for that. So let me just quickly.
And then while you're doing that, actually, I can answer another question, which is asking what engine we're using. So this is actually a combination of in-house technology and licensed technology. We're not disclosing the source, but we are going to be continuing to improve this over time. And we consider it to be part of our special sauce. We are also looking at being able to plug in additional capabilities into this, much as we do with our Axel AI media management. So there you can plug in a variety of tools from third parties, and also, for instance, add things like face recognition and object recognition. So we are looking at doing stuff like that inside a Scribe. But obviously this is 1.0 and it just started shipping. So we're kind of taking requests as they come in. We're also very interested in feature requests, like that idea of being able to change the unit length for the segments being transcribed. Like that seems like a very reasonable feature request that we could probably respond to in a future version. Go ahead, Patrice.
Yes, no worries. So there were two additional questions that I just answered, which is from Frederick. Will there be more languages available the coming month? And that is indeed our goal, to actually include as many languages as possible. And Bob is asking if we can train the system. So this is something that we do not have at the moment. And this is something we are also investigating. How would it be practical to do that in a small interface like the panel? So this is both things it's a brand new product. So we are basically looking into how we can basically expand the capabilities that will make sense.
I see another question from Mark. How does it cope with different accents?
Yes, that's a very good question. So the accuracy is going to drop a little bit. And believe me, I have tested with my own accent. We currently have on a quiet setting with one speaker, roughly 90 to 95% accuracy. If you were to have someone with an accent or you have a lot of background noise, the accuracy is going to drop to roughly between 70 and 80%. Depending on the accent. And I can go into very technical details as to why it is the case, and any kind of engine will have this issue. Speechmatics is claiming to have what they call global English, which is supposed to handle accents. It is actually decent, but yet you will still have a loss of accuracy. Having myself an accent, I'm able to test every engines with the accent.
And by the way, within our product, we do have settings for both English, like UK style English, and American English.
Yes.
But it is also true that for more obscure accents or just general, it's a big world out there, and there are a lot of flavors of English, French, and Spanish, of course. So your mileage will vary, and I think the best thing to do is kind of test it with a short clip of what you're trying to use it against.
Yeah, and it is evolving rapidly. So as the more we train the system, the better it will get. So at every speech to text technologies that you will see, whether it is IBM Watson or Google Voice or Apple or anything else, they are improving. I mean, compared to what Siri used to be in the first release, I could not get anything with my phone to do with Siri. Now at least I can get at least 80% of what I'm asking for already. So by going to axlesupport.com, this is the user portal where you can either register, and that's all we need for you to have your 60 minutes, or I can just log in. And when I will log in, you will see how many minutes I have. You can easily create the token here, the file that you have processed, and you can either buy blocks or change your subscription level. And one thing we have not mentioned is that whenever you do not use your minutes in the month, they are going to roll over to the next month, and they never expire. So it's something we have not mentioned. And you can get started without a credit card. So it's really easy. And whenever you need, you simply create an API token, and that's the token that you will use to basically insert into your Ascribe panel.
So we just had a question about speech Maddox integration, and right now there is no speech Maddox integration in the Scribe, but we do offer it as a module in Axel AI, which actually may be a good point to transition over.
Yeah.
If Patrice, if you want to hand over the screen,
Yeah.
then I will.
Yes, definitely. Matthias is wondering if we can also apply Ascribe to sequences, and yes, you can. So once you finish the editing and cuts that you need and you have a sequence, you can also transcribe the sequence by selecting the sequence rather than the clip. So that is done. And so let's jump into Axel now. So we've showed you how from Premiere within your project, you can basically search from markers and transcribe. There is a moment where you will have more than one disk. You will have probably a network storage with multiple user on it. And the real question is, how do you actually find the clip that you will need? As the amount of video footage and photos that you will have increases, how will you be able to do that, to find them? And we have developed, and that's how Axel started basically. We have developed a tool. It is not cloud-based. It is a simple web interface that I'm just tapping onto a server. And the goal of this server is once you log in, you will access the folders that you have indexed within Axel. So let me organize the file name just to make it easier. On the left side here, you have all the clips, all the folders that I need. And basically, I simply ask Axel, if I jump to my Finder window here, I asked it, take a look at this folder and index it. And it has been indexed. And you will see that I have the video clips. And we provide a small scrubbing. I can easily jump to different folders. And when I click on the clip, for example, I will take this clip right here. We have a small preview, and we automatically generate small previews for any clip. So you do not have to worry about the codec. You do not have to transcode yourself into H.264 or anything else. Everything is done automatically. Any new files or new folders added will be automatically added. And any new files picked up, we are going to do our best to create a preview, whether it is a PDF, photo, raw camera file, video. It can be MXF or P1A, it can be XDCAM, MP4, H.265 from the iPhone. We are going to be able to create a preview that is viewable. And I can scrub the video, the time codes remain intact. I can post annotation here, as you can see, associated to the timeline, and that's called a comment. I can also do some marking and markouts to be placed inside the bin, and the goal will be to then export this into Premiere. We also support Final Cut Pro and Avid Media Composer. And we have actually more interesting things that I'm just going to jump a little bit later with all these things. But let me just show you on the right side here first the metadata. So these are user tags, and I can create my own flavor of data sets with different type, whether it is checkbox, text, date, and I can edit all this information. So I can say approve November 6th, for example, and have some notes. So all of this information will then become searchable. A drop-down menu, multiple select button, and so on. So this is the old way. That's actually the boring way. So that would need that someone or yourself will need to sit through your clip and tag them. Now, what if you actually have a system that will do that for you? It will make your life much easier. And for example, I will check here by whoever has been picked by the engine for facial recognition. And if it does not know the person, I can easily teach who the new person is, and that is teachable. So it will remember for the future. And I will know exactly who appears in the video and when. So if I click here, you will see Matt Kemp right here from the Dodgers. And we have also annotations, which are kind of, what appears. So you have the batter, you have baseball. Sometimes it will have it wrong. It will show me the golf. It probably think it's a sand pit and the green grass. But you have different keywords that have been automatically inserted, which should help you find your clip faster. And of course, we have the transcript, which can use speech Maddox. What I'm showing you is from Microsoft Video Indexer. We can also use Axel Speech, which is the same technology that we have used in a Scribe with the exact same pricing. So you can have the search engine of Axel plus the same technology from the Scribe applied here. Actually, I should say the other way around. That's the Axel speech technology from Axle AI that has been applied to a Scribe. And when I edit my transcript, it will, just like the panel, it will follow exactly where I am, and I can easily edit. And I can, of course, export my transcript whenever I'm done. And all this information becomes searchable. We use Elasticsearch, which means it's a kind of Google style search when I can start to type entries, and it will basically filter down to everything that I would need, whether it is by metadata keyword, whether it is by file name, and I can change what I need to find, whether it is audio, video, or other. And certain need. For example, let's say I want to find whatever has been modified before November 1st. And let's say find whatever has been approved. And I will perform my search. And here I have all the files modified before November 1st that has been approved. And this can be saved. And what we are saving will be inserted inside the smart filters here. And these smart filters, well, these smart filters are basically saved search queries. So you will see that I have one. So if I take any clip now that has been modified before November 1st, and let me change the approval of one clip. Let's take this building right here, change the approval, jumping back to my saved search. You will see that now I have 9 file founds, including the new clip. So we are saving the query. And that is Axel in a nutshell, basically. We keep your folder structure intact. On the left side, you can easily navigate. You can search for your clip. You can preview your clip. And you can have tags applied using AI. And with
Thanks,
that,
Patrice. So that was I think a good top level run through. I mean, there's more we could show, of course, if people have questions. Like there's an admin section where you set up the specific folders that people can see and the permissions on those folders. And there's also an area where you can set up the metadata preferences, custom fields, and so forth. But I think hopefully that'll give people a broad sense of what Axel's about. We had a couple of questions, or one question in particular, while you were doing that demo, which is whether Ascribe will be available standalone and not with Premiere Pro, just as kind of a
yeah.
freestanding application. So
and I just answered I just answered him. So yes, our goal is to have a standalone app for Scribe where first you will have the transcript, and of course when we add facial recognition and other and object detection, they will also be available. First, the Mac app is going to be released. It should happen like within a month. And we are planning to also have a Windows version.
Yep, and we're also open. We're looking at other editors, of course, other NLEs. So it would be very interesting to do something similar inside, say, Final Cut or a Media Composer or a DaVinci Resolve. So as you can imagine, we'd like to explore making this as ubiquitous as possible, and then you can just call it up from whatever your preferred environment is.
We have another question from Christopher, who is asking if we are using our own face recognition tool or a third-party technology. So we started Axel as a search engine. So our goal is to help you find your clip, whatever the means necessary. And so we have first released the AI tags with third parties, including Microsoft. And we are also developing our own, which will be available spring of next year. And we are also planning to add our own technology to Scribe. Hopefully I answered your question, Christopher. Another question from Joe, which is basically, can the Axel server run on a virtual machine? And the answer is yes, if you have the correct settings. We do provide a virtual appliance image, so an OVA file that you can then run into any kind of hypervisor. Simplifying the terms, we provide you a file, you can load it into a virtual machine software.
And actually, Patrice, if you want to just to hand the share back to me, I can bring up the last few slides on the deck while people are asking questions.
Of course, of course. You should be able to share, Sam.
Yep.
Very good questions. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah, this has been really good, and both the turnout and the level of engagement has been great. So this is what you just saw, kind of the screen layout of Axle AI and the different kind of sections of the user interface. It's all browser based, of course. There's a slightly
Sorry,
scaled down
Sam.
version. Oh, still not
I don't
sharing?
think we see your screen. Yeah, I
Ah,
don't think
okay.
we see your screen. Sorry to
Give
interrupt.
me a moment. I'll see if I can make that happen. Thought I had share, but maybe.
Matthias is asking when it is going to be released for Windows. I do not, unfortunately, have a date at the moment. We are hoping to have that very early next year.
And one of the things is we are having to look at prioritizing, obviously, the different flavors of this. So, the one that we know is coming next is the Mac desktop app, but beyond that, it gets a little fuzzy because, we may, for instance, do another NLE before we do a native Windows app. We may also do a native browser app where you can just upload it. That's a possibility as well. So it's really to be determined, I would say, after the Mac version. So this is just a little bit on kind of under the hood how Axel is architected. Obviously, you have the different AI modules, and it's designed to be very modular in that sense. We can plug in nearly anybody's engines. Then we have the UI, which is what Patrice just showed you. And that, of course, continues to evolve. We keep doing enhancements. For instance, we recently did a dark mode to make it a little friendlier for editorial environments. We also have this thing called Connector, which we won't be covering in this webinar, which is basically a visual programming toolkit that lets you build custom workflows. And I encourage you to go to connector.ai. That's without the final O, so CONNECTR.ai, if you want to learn more about that. And then the big thing with Axel, and really with all our products, is that we don't require that you change the way you work or change the way you set up your storage. This was our original breakthrough compared to traditional MEMS. Almost every MEM says that you have to ingest your material and copy it onto some new storage where it will then catalog it and create essentially a warehouse of your material. And we decided to do something different, which we call radically simple, which is just catalog it as it is on the storage that you already have, and with the folder structures and file types and file naming conventions that you already have. So that low impact deployment is really central to the appeal of Axel, because it means that you can install it on top of existing workflows that are already underway and not retrain people and force them to do anything different than they're already doing. So with that, let's just see if there are more questions.
There was one additional question from Molly, which was the, if I understood correctly, and Molly, feel free to correct me, if there is any kind of communication between Axel and Ascribe, meaning can I have Axel running where I have the transcript, and how will I bring it into Ascribe? So there is no direct communication right now. We are working on adding an import feature into Scribe where you would be able to bring back a SRT file. And the goal is, if you have a team that is solely working on a text document SRT to edit, that's something that you can then re-bring into Scribe. And since Axel is able to export an SRT, we are planning to have this way of exporting from Axel the SRT and bring it back into Premiere. Now, something I did not cover is that the Axel server has its own Premiere panel where you can perform searches directly, bring the clip within from the Axel panel into your project, and all these timeline data that we have generated with transcript, facial recognition, and object detection, they are going to be brought in as markers. And
I would say, just as a broader goal, like we definitely see a world where a lot of editing work is being done, in transit at remote locations. So I think you can expect to see a lot more from us in terms of syncing up individual workstations with the work group, and over time, federating multiple work groups as well. So we already have the ability within Axel to sync one instance of Axel with another using a goal. If you think about it longer term, would be why couldn't you have several of those all potentially talking to either a cloud backend or an on-premise backend that is kind of housing all of the proxies and metadata for all of the work being done at multiple sites. So, there's a little bit more out there, but you can see like an individual editor working on stuff in the field, and then things aggregating towards their work group and even towards several work groups at once. All right, with that, any other questions? All right, I think we will adjourn the meeting, but thanks so much everybody for coming. We will make a recorded version of this webinar available, and just wanted to thank you all for spending the time with us, and feel free, again, my email is sam@axle.ai, Patrice is patrice@axle.ai, etc. Neil, Katie, Alex, it's all just first name @axle.ai, and that is my mobile number there, by the way. Please feel free to text or call me as well. So we really appreciate you all taking the time, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.